Text 15. केतुमालेऽपि भगवन् कामदेव स्वरूपेण लक्ष्म्यः प्रियः चिकीर्षया प्रजापते दुहितृणम् पुत्राणां तदवर्ष पतीनां पुरुषायुसहोरत्र परिसंख्यानां याशं गर्भमः पुरुष महस्त्र तेजसो द्विजिता मनसं मनसां विध्वस्त व्यासव संवत्सरन्ते विनिपतन्ति. Sukadeva Goswami continued. In the tract of land called Ketumala Varsha, Lord Vishnu resides, lives in the form of Kamadev, only for the satisfaction of his devotees. These include Lakshmi Ji, the goddess of fortune, the Prajapati Samvatsara, and all of Samvatsara's sons and daughters. The daughters of the Prajapati are considered the controlling deities of the nights, and his sons are considered the controllers of the day. The Prajapati's offspring number 36,000, one for each day and each night in the lifetime of a human being. At the end of each year, the Prajapati's daughters become very agitated upon seeing the extremely effulgent disk of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thus, they all suffer miscarriages. This Kamadev, who appears as Krishna's son, Pradyumna, is Vishnu Tattva. How this is so is explained by Madhvacharya, who quotes from the Brahmanda Purana. Kamadeva Sitam Vishnu Upaste. Although this Kamadev is Vishnu Tattva, his body is not spiritual but material. Lord Vishnu, as Pradyumna or Kamadev, accepts a material body, but he still acts spiritually. It does not make any difference whether he accepts a spiritual or a material body. He can act spiritually in any condition of existence. Mayavadi philosophers, they regard even Lord Krishna's body as material, but their opinions cannot impede the spiritual activity of the Lord. So we are here reading from the Ketumala Varsha. It has been explained here that in the Ketumala Varsha, the Lord is appearing for the pleasure of his devotees, Maharaj Samvatsara, and his 36,000 sons and daughters, who are controllers of day and night. Srila Prabhupada is quoting Sripad Madhvacharya, who explains that our Pradyumna is Kamadev, is a Vishnu Tattva, but he has a material body. For the Lord, it doesn't matter whether he has a material body or spiritual body. So the Lord's, for the Lord, it doesn't matter. Many times we see that these Mayavadi philosophers or these atheistic personalities, They try to grope around, cling on or grab. Some they cling on or grab some point or the other by which they can decry the existence of the God or deny the position of the God or bring down the position of the God. But they don't realize the simple fact that Lord Krishna is beyond any kind of material conditions. For Lord Krishna, it does not matter. The Lord is a small little baby boy who just born or just appeared. Apparently just born, but just appeared. The Lord is a small baby boy is killing Shaktaksura and Trinavarta and Putana. For the Lord, the material conditions don't matter. Krishna can choose to become unmanifest anywhere, and Krishna can choose to become manifest anywhere. So Lord Krishna appeared in the heart of Vasudeva. Actually, Lord Krishna had the power to appear from Lord Vasudeva. I mean, from Vasudeva also. Vasudeva. But the Lord so chose to transfer himself from the heart of Vasudeva to Devaki's heart. And then he appeared from the womb of Mother Devaki. But the Lord could have appeared directly from the heart of Vasudeva also. It's not a mandate for the Lord. The Lord went to Devaki's heart to reciprocate in love with Devaki. No other reason. So material conditions do not matter when it comes to Supreme Lord. And therefore, all kinds of uh, intellectual, logical juggleries of the atheists, the Mayavadis, are of no use. The Acharyas are just decrying it. So they say, oh, the Lord, when he comes to this world, has a material form. The Lord doesn't have a material form. In fact, so the simple thing is sometimes, how foolish it looks, how foolish or illogical this argument is. The Lord may be having a material form. So why is illogical? Because we have experience even today when matter is used in the service of the Lord, that matter itself becomes spiritual. When we use our own body, mind, and word in the service of the Lord, our own body, mind, and word becomes spiritual. We can experience the purification of heart. So when material comes in contact with spiritual, that material also starts becoming spiritual. What to say of the Supreme Lord? So even if you have a material body, that body will no longer remain material. It will be spiritual. It's like iron at 3000 degrees centigrade. It will be iron, it will be fire. Molten completely. It will be molten fire. Same way, the Lord's activities are spiritual. Mm. So for the Lord, the material conditions do not matter, and the Lord shows this again and again. Like say, for example, Lord Ramachandra is fighting the battle, and Ravana's army commanders were all Mayavis, had so many siddhis and so on and so forth. Whereas the Vanar soldiers, they only knew how to uproot trees and mountains and rocks, and that was their only weapons to fight. And Lord Ramachandra could use the Vanaras having such simple weapons to win the war. For the Lord, material conditions don't matter. We may say, oh, it was that time, now we have nuclear technology, now nobody can stand in front. No, the Lord can do anything, anyhow. That is the idea, because He is the Supreme Lord. No material conditions apply on the Supreme Lord. Let's read further. अतीव सुललिता गतिविलासविलसितरुचिरहास लेशावलोकलीलया किञ्चित् उत्तमभीतसुन्दरा भ्रुमण्डल सुभागा वादरा वादनारविन्द श्रिया रमं रमयन् इन्द्रियाणि रमयते. In the Ketumala Varsha, Lord Kamadev, Pradyumna, moves very gracious. His mild smile is very beautiful, and when he increases his beauty of the face by slightly raising his eyebrows and glancing playfully, he pleases the goddess. Thus, she enjoys and transcendental sense. तद् भगवतो मायामयं रूपं परमसमाधियोगेन रमादेवी संवत्सरस्य रात्रिषु प्रजापतिर्दुहितृभिः उपेतः हसु तद् भ्रातृभिरुपस्थे idam chodaharati, accompanied during the daytime by the sons of the Prajapati, the predominating deities of the days, and accompanied by night by his daughters, the deities of the nights. Lakshmi Devi worships the Lord. So Lakshmi Devi worships the Lord during the period known as Samvatsara in his most merciful form as Kaman. Fully absorbed in devotional service, she chants the following mantras. But the word Maya Mayam used in this verse should not be understood according to the interpretations of the Mayavadis. Maya means affection as well as illusion. When a mother deals with her child affectionately, she is called Maya Maya. In whatever form the Supreme Lord Vishnu appears, he is always affectionate towards his devotees. Thus, the word Maya Maya is used here to mean very affectionate towards the devotees. Srila Jiva Goswami writes in this regard that Maya Maya also can mean Kripa Prachuram, deeply merciful. Similarly, Srila Veera Raghava says, Maya Prachuran Atmiya Sankalpena Parigrahitam Iti Artha Jnana Paryayo Atra Maya Shabda. When one is very affectionate due to an intimate relationship, one is described as Maya Maya. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains Maya Mayam by dividing it into the words Maya and Amaya. He explains these words to indicate that because the living entity is covered by the disease of illusions, the Lord is always eager to deliver his devotee from the clutches of Maya and cure him of the disease caused by the illusory energy. Mother Lakshmi is offering prayers. Now here, what is being described is, so Prabhupada elaborates on the word Maya Maya. So one is affectionate feelings towards the devotees. So Prabhupada says that which brings one out of Maya or illusion, that is Maya Maya. Prabhupada says also means deeply merciful. Lord is Maya Maya. Deeply merciful. The Lord is deeply merciful. Lord is so eager towards the deliverance of the divinity. That is how one should see it. The Lord is so eager to deliver all of us. So the Lord is manifesting in the form of his devotees, in the form of his, in the form of deities, the form of the holy name, the Shastras. We see every activity of the Supreme Lord is directed for the sake of the devotees. The Lord appears ordinary so that we can relate with him. And then within that ordinary appearance, the Lord exhibits extraordinary traits so that uh, when we start relating with him, our hearts are open. And immediately we see the Lord is performing extraordinary activities, and our open hearts can get very much attracted to the Supreme. So that's why the Lord exhibits the extraordinary within the ordinary. This is the power of the Lord. Hmm. Just like Prabhupada was saying, right? Uh, and that's the nature of the Lord. The Lord exhibits always the extraordinary within the ordinary. To attract our hearts. That's the main point. So that's the figment of supreme mercy of the Lord. So the Lord's figment of the supreme mercy of the Lord. So something appearing ordinary, that is only just so that we can nicely connect to us and we can nicely relate with it. And then the Lord is exhibiting such a divine opulence. Let's read further. Okay, so chapter 18, text 17, 18. Om Ram Hrim Hum Om Namo Bhagavate Rishikeshaya Sarva Guna Visheshe Vilakshitama Vilakshita Atmane Akutina Chittina Chetasam Visheshanam Chadipataye Shodashakalaya Chando Maya Jana. Hmm. Control. Okay, let us see for how long it goes. So, text 18. As the supreme master of all bodily, mental, and intellectual activities, he is the only enjoyer of all the results. The five sense objects and the 11 senses, including the mind, are his partial manifestations. He supplies all the necessities of life, which are his energy, and thus non different from him. And he is the cause of everyone's bodily and mental prowess, and the provider of necessities for all the living entities. The purpose of the Vedas is to worship him. Therefore, let us all offer him our respectful obeisances. May he always be favorable towards us in this life and in the next. The Lord is the only enjoyer. He is the controller of everything. And then he says that the purpose of all the Vedas is to worship him. In this verse, the word Maya is further explained in regard to how the Lord expands his mercy in different ways. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. The energies of the Supreme Lord are understood in different ways. And this verse is described as the original source of everything, even our body, senses, mind, activities, prowess, bodily strength, mental strength, determination for securing the necessities of life. Energies can be perceived as Gita so it's what is also of everything we need for our lives. This verse offering respectful obeisances unto the Lord was composed by Rama, the guidance of Parsi, and is full of spiritual power. Under the guidance of the spiritual master, everyone should chant this perfect devotee of the Lord. One may chant this mantra for complete liberation from material bondage. And after liberation, one may continue to chant it while worshipping the Supreme Lord in Vaikuntha Loka. All the mantras, of course, are meant for this life and the next life. Krishna himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Satatam Kirtayanto Yatantasya Viravritana. Namaskyantasya Mam Nitya Nitya Yukapastate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination. Bowing down before me, the great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. A devotee who both in this life and the next chants the Maha Mantra or any mantra is called as Nitya Yukta Upasate. So the Lord is very eager to provide all the necessary physical living. He is actually the enjoyer, he's the controller, but he is very eager to supply the necessities. The Supreme Lord is the only enjoyer of results. It is said here that he is the supreme master of all bodily, mental, and intellectual activities. Krishna is the supreme master. Therefore, he is the enjoyer. So our own mind, body, intellectual activities are not in our control. So it is the mind which whistles the no control or out of control alarm. The Krishna is very eager to supply necessities. Here it is explained. So it is the nature of the Supreme Lord to be very magnanimous to the humanity. Especially the Supreme Lord is very, very eager towards the deliverance of every living entity. That is the point which is being explained here very nicely. Okay, let's read further. Text 19 now. Striyo vrite sva rishikeshwaram stavo ayyarate loke param shivaram patim ashashate anyam तासां नति वै परिपन्ति अपत्यम् प्रियं धनयुंसि यतो सुखं Ideal Lord, you are certainly the full, independent master of all the senses. Therefore, all women who worship because they wish to acquire a husband to satisfy their senses are surely under illusion. They do not know that such a husband cannot actually give protection to them or their children. Nor can he protect their wealth or duration of life. For he himself is dependent on time, fruitive results, and the modes of nature, which are all subordinate to you. So in this verse, Lakshmi Devi Rama shows compassion towards a woman who worships the Lord for the benediction of possessing a good husband. Although such women desire to be happy with children, wealth, a long duration of life, and everything dear to them, they cannot possibly do so. In the material world, a so-called husband is dependent on the control of the Supreme Personality of God. There are many examples of a woman whose husband, being dependent on the result of his own fruitive actions, cannot maintain his wife, children, wealth, or duration of life. If actually the only real husband of all women is Krishna, the supreme husband. Therefore, actually, the only real husband of all women is Krishna, the supreme husband, because the gopis were liberated souls. They understood this fact. Therefore, they rejected their material husbands and accepted Krishna as the real husband. Krishna is the real husband, not only of the gopis, but of every living entity. Everyone should perfectly understand that Krishna, the real husband of every living entity, is what is described in Bhagavad Gita as Prakriti, female, not Purusha, male. Bhagavad Gita 10:12, Lord Krishna is addresses Purusha. Param Brahma, Param Dama, Pavitram, Purumam, Paman. Purusham, Shashwatam, Divyam, Adyevam, Madhyam. You are the primal God, transcendental and original. You are unborn and the all-pervading beauty. Krishna is the original Purusha, and the living entities are Prakriti. As Krishna is the enjoyer, as any woman who seeks a material husband for her protection, or any man who desires to become the husband of a woman, is an illusion. To become a husband means to maintain a wife and children nicely by supplying wealth and security. However, a material husband cannot possibly do this because he is dependent on karma. Now, karma na deva naitrena. Because a material husband is dependent on karma. Karma na deva naitrena. His circumstances are determined by his past fruitive activity. Therefore, if one proudly thinks that he can protect his wife, he is under illusion. Krishna is the only husband, and therefore the relationship between husband and wife in this material world cannot be absolute. Because we have the right to marry, Krishna mercifully allows the so-called husband to possess a wife and the wife to possess a so-called husband for mutual satisfaction. The Ishopanishad it is said, Tene taktena bhunjita. Yeah. Tena taktena bhunjita. The Lord provides everyone as his quota. Actually, however, every living entity is Prakriti and Krishna is only husband. Ekaleshwara Krishna. और सब अब यारे इच्छे न चाया से इच्छे करे Krishna is the original master or husband of everyone. And all the living entities, having taken the form of the so-called husbands or wives, are dancing according to his desire. The so-called husband may unite with his wife for sense gratification, but his senses are conducted by Rishikesha, the master of the senses, who is therefore the actual husband. Yeah, Ramadi is teaching us, you see, by his own behavior. So here, Mother Lakshmi is describing the illusion of the people in this world. What an illusion. Everybody thinks, everybody knows that they are miserable, but they think that just if they get the other person, they're going to become happy. So person is thinking that okay, I am incomplete myself, but add the other person, it will become complete. So yeah. So no doubt the jiva is called as part and parcel of Supreme Lord, but but it's not that the jivas make up the Supreme Lord. The jiva is an insignificant part. How insignificant? So insignificant that whether it is connected or disconnected doesn't matter to the Lord. What an illusion! The whole world keeps running behind this illusion. Children are thinking my parents will take care of me. Parents are generally they are thinking children will take care of me. Ultimately, nobody has the capacity to take care of anyone other than Krishna. Everybody is thinking, okay, I'm incomplete. And wherever they look, this is okay, this will make it complete, this will make it complete. So on and so. Actually, a living entity has 1 lakh reasons why to, or 1 lakh excuses why not to go to Krishna. This is stubbornness, nothing else. So this illusion of the living entity is very much based on stubbornness. It's very much based on the stubborn obstinacy. That okay, I will not go to Krishna, anyone else. You see, for the sake of here and there, so many shelters, we run about so much. How much people, for anything and everything actually. Even as small a thing as getting into a good college for UG admission, so much struggle. Getting a job, so much struggle. Getting a wife, so much struggle. So this is the nature of Maya Shakti. It bewilders a person to such an extent that a person keeps groping around in the dark, trying to grab onto something, anything which comes in one's hand, and seeing if it can be put to some good use. That's all what the living entity is doing. Very unfortunate in one sense. Mm. So as a sadhaka, we have to be afraid of this situation of bewilderment and illusion. This illusion is such that it actually bifurcates the soul from getting some inputs from a higher, not uh, from intelligence as it appears to be. It's only the senses which are creating a ravaging effect. That's all. Let's read further. It's 20 now. Savai pati swadakuto bhaya swayam. Samantakaha pati bhayaturam janam. Sa eka eva ratha bhayam naivarmanyate. He alone who's never afraid his connection to all of the sons can actually become a husband or protector. You're the only husband and no one else can claim this position. If you are not the only husband, you would be afraid of others. Therefore, persons learned in all the Vedic literature accept only your lordship as everyone's master. And they think of no else a better husband and protector than you. Yeah, if you were not the only husband, you would be afraid of others. Therefore, persons learned in all the Vedic literatures accept only your lordship as everyone's master. And then think of no one else better husband or protector than you. Yeah. Guardian very clearly. People want to become a husband, guardian, governor, or political leader without knowing the actual meaning of such a superior position. They may indeed for the universe to claim for some time that they are husbands, or political leaders, or guardians, but in due course of time, the Supreme Lord desires their removal from their post and their careers are immediately finished. Yeah, but those are actually learned or advanced in spiritual life do not accept any leader husband or anything other than the Supreme Personality of God. Let's come back. Okay, let's see further. So I shall deliver you from all the sinful reactions. Krishna is not afraid of anyone. Anyone. On the contrary, everyone is afraid of Krishna. Therefore, he can actually give protection to subordinates during injury. Since so-called leaders or dictators are completely under the control of material nature, they can never give complete protection to others. Although in this availability, this ability due to their false prestige. Vishnu, people do not know the real advancement of life consists of accepting the supreme personality of God as one's master. Instead of deceiving themselves and others by pretending to be all powerful, all political leaders, husbands, and guardians should spread the Krishna conscious movement. Uh, yeah. So, what a beautiful section is going on here. You see, the Supreme Lord is very nicely now using Mother Lakshmi is very nicely bringing about that how people are simply wasting their lives running behind these false illusory shelters, and how foolish that few of such living entities they are themselves claiming to be protectors. Lakshmi Devi is giving a qualification criteria. Who can be a husband or a protector? One who is not afraid of anyone else. So the living entity has a very deep desire to offer shelter. And okay, you please come in my Sharan, no? And I am the Karta, Bharta, Dharta, Vigna, Harta, shelter giver. But it is only out of illusion or false ego. No? Because when it comes to actually furnishing or supplying, every living entity will fall short. So actually, we have to understand Prabhupada is so beautifully surrounded. And Prabhupada is saying that, okay, so what is the use of imposing oneself to be a great hero? Why not honestly and earnestly spread Krishna consciousness? Because if people learn to get the shelter of Krishna, then their hearts will be filled with warmth and empowerment. So we never want to become shelter givers. But so our profile is not shelter givers. We are not shelter givers. That okay, I'll give you shelter. Come in my sharan. No, we are not shelter givers. We are simply informers of the supreme shelter. Here is the supreme shelter. Please come and take. Simply informers, sharers, sharing the information about the supreme shelter. That's the whole point. We're not shelter givers. So when we claim ourselves to be a shelter giver, then the problem arises in life. So we are simply information provider to the supreme shelter. We have to understand that. So in fact, as devotee Vaishnavas, as a devotee advances in Krishna consciousness day by day, the devotee more and more feels the need of the shelter of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, a Vaishnava is not one who claims that he can give shelter. But a Vaishnava is one who demonstrates how to take shelter. That's a classic difference. A debauchee is one who stands up that okay, I'll give shelter. But actually, a true Vaishnava just demonstrates how to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. That is the point. So this is very beautiful. Mother Rama, you look at what Mother Rama is talking about. Mother Rama is she is expressing her heart that why people are running behind illusory shelters. And where is the illusory shelter? Everyone is bedecked with fear. There are so many parameters which are unknown. So one person cannot handle it. Therefore, person is so fearful. It is only the Supreme Lord. Read further. Very good. Text 21. यातस्य ते पाद सरोरुहनम् निकामये सखिल कामलंपटा तदेव रसिप्सितम् इप्सितो अर्चितो यद्भाग्नयाच्न भगवान् प्रतप्यते. My dear Lord, you automatically fulfill all the desires of a woman who worships your lotus feet in pure love. However, if a woman worships your lotus feet for a particular purpose, you also quickly fulfills her desires. But in the end, she becomes broken-hearted and laments. Therefore, one need not worship your lotus feet for some material benefit. Yeah. Tirupa Goswami prescribes pure devotional services. Anya abhilashita shunyam. Jnana karmadi anavritam. One should not worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead to fulfill some material desire for success in fruitive activities or mental speculation. To serve the lotus feet of the Lord means to serve Him exactly as He desires. Neophyte devotees therefore ordered to worship the Lord strictly according to the regulative principles given by the spiritual master and the Shastras. By executing devotional service in that way, he gradually becomes attached to Krishna. And when his dormant love for the Lord becomes manifest, he spontaneously serves the Lord without any motive. This condition is the perfect stage of one's relationship with the Lord. The Lord then looks after the comfort and security of his devotee without being asked. Krishna promised in Bhagavad Gita 9:22, Ananya Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamiyam. The Supreme Lord personally takes care of anyone who is completely engaged in his devotional service. Whatever he has, the Lord protects. And whatever he needs, the Lord supplies. Therefore, why should one bother the Lord for something material? Such prayers are unnecessary. A. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained that even if a devotee wishes the Lord to fulfill a particular desire, the devotee should not be considered a sakam bhakta, devotee with some motive. In the Bhagavad Gita 7:16, Krishna says, Chaturveda bhajante mam jana sukritino arjunaha arthajigyasurartharthi jnani cha bharatar sabha. The best of the Bharatas, Arjuna, four kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me. The distressed, the desire of the wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Artha and Artharthi who approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief from misery or for some money are not Sakama Bhaktas, although they appear to be. Being neophyte devotees, they are simply ignorant. Later in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Udara Sarva Evete, they are all magnanimous, the Udara. Although in the beginning a devotee may harbor some desire, in due course of time it will vanish. Therefore, Bhagavatam enjoins Akama Sarvakama Moksha Kama Udarati Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Jajeta Purusham Param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he is full of all material desires, whether he is free from material desire, or has a desire for liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of God. Even if one wants something material, he should pray to no one but the Lord to fulfill his desire. If one approaches the demigod for the fulfillment of his desire, he is to be considered Nashta Buddhi, bereft of all good sense. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7:20, Kamistaste hitagyana prapadyante anya devata tam tam niyamamasaya prakritya niyata swaya. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto the demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Lakshmi Devi advises all devotees who approach the Lord with material desires that according to her practical experience, the Lord is Kamadev. Thus, there is no need to ask him for anything material. She says that everyone should simply serve the Lord without any motive. Since the Supreme Personality of God is sitting in everyone's heart, He knows everyone's thoughts, and in due course of time, He will fulfill all desires. Therefore, let us completely depend on the service of the Supreme Lord without bothering Him with our material interests. So, this is very beautiful what Mother Lakshmi is saying. Very beautiful. Oh, people go to demigods for fulfilling material desire, Bhrashta Buddhi. See, the proper translation that is Bhrashta Buddhi. So, Buddhi Bhrashta fellows, they are going to the Supreme, they're going to these demigods. No one needs to go anywhere. One should only go to the Supreme Lord. And when one goes to the Supreme Lord, they, now although you see our acharyas, they're so encouraging. The acharyas are saying that okay, such a person need not be called a sakama. And this fellow is ignorant. When one says that okay, I was asking like say suppose somebody is asking for one glass juice and one is given a full river of juice. So Krishna is like that actually. Therefore, if one understands the true nature of Krishna, one will understand that let me not ask for anything. It is foolish to unnecessary and it is rather foolish to ask the Lord of something. See, Krishna says, yeah, thamam prapadam. So if we ask for something, Krishna will give that. But if we don't ask for anything, Krishna will give everything. So therefore, a devotee is not sentimental. Devotee is most intelligent. Devotee knows. So I, Prahlad, is not asking the Supreme Lord because he has full faith. Krishna is going to supply everything. When this pastime, Lord Chaitanya is Lord Chaitanya is in a way appealing or chastising Srivas, and Lord Chaitanya is saying, Srivas, you are not working to get some for grains and materials in your home. You're not doing any work. You're not earning any money. What are you doing? You say, no need. And Lord Chaitanya is saying, what do you mean no need? You're a grihastha, you have to arrange. Shiva say, what? No, he just clapped 3 times. Lord is saying, what is this? And Shiva says, whenever I need anything, I just clap. 1, 2, 3. And if what I need doesn't appear, then I'll go and commit suicide. But he says always, I just clap 1, 2, 3, everything appears. So what is this 1, 2, 3 clap and everything appears? One who does not ask for anything, Krishna supplies such a person everything. That is what is the point. So if we are so obsessed about something, better ask Krishna. But if you want something better than the obsession, don't ask Krishna. What a beautiful explanation. And Mother Rama is encouraging. What is this running after illusions? And oneself claiming to be a shelter for others and all that. Uh, Such an illusion. Why not worship the Supreme Lord? Then Mother Rama, then this verse, present verse, Mother Rama is telling. Better not ask. If you ask something, you will get that thing, or maybe in that same quantity a little more. Because Krishna mercy. If you ask nothing, you will get everything. That is the science. Let's read further. Very beautiful. Mother Rama's prayers are so amazing. Very beautiful. Amazing. मत प्राप्त ये जेशा सुरासुरादया तप्यंत उग्रम तप ऐन्द्रिये धिया ऋते भवत पाद परायणन नमाम विन्दन्त्यहं त्वद् हृदया यतोजिता. O Supreme, unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, they undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benediction. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is fully engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. Neighbor. In this verse, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, clearly states that she does not bestow her favor on any materialistic person. Although sometimes a materialist may be very opulent in the eyes of another materialist, such opulence is bestowed upon him by Goddess Durga Devi. Material expansion of the goddess of fortune, not by Lakshmi Devi herself. Those who desire material wealth worship Durga Devi. By the following mantra, Adharam Dehi, Rupavate, Bharyam Dehi, Hare Krishna. Worshipable Mother Durga Devi, please give me wealth, the strength, the fame, good wife, and so on. By pleasing Goddess Durga, one can obtain such benefits. But since they are temporary, they only result in Maya Sukhaya, Param Udvahato Vimodan. They work very hard for material benefits. So those who work very hard for material benefit, they are called as Vimudas, foolish rascals, because such happiness will not endure. On the other hand, devotees like Prahlad, Dhruva Maharaj achieved extraordinary material opulence. But such opulences were not Maya. When a devotee acquires unparalleled opulences, they are the direct gifts of the goddess of fortune who reside in the heart of Narayana. Material opulences the person obtains by offering prayers to Goddess Durga temporarily. As described in Bhagavad Gita 7:23, Antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedhasaha. Men of meager intelligence desire temporary happiness. You have actually seen that one of the disciples, Srila Bhaktisnatha Saraswati Thakur, wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master. And the spiritual master, being merciful towards him, gave him the property temporarily, but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. That special mercy of the power to preach is given to the devotee who does not want anything material from his spiritual master, but only want to serve him. The story of the demon Ravana illustrates this point. Although Ravana tried to abduct goddess of fortune Sita Devi from the custody of Lord Ramachandra, he could possibly not do so. The Sita Devi he forcibly took with him was not original Sita Devi, but she was the expansion of Maya or Durga Devi. As a result, instead of winning the favor of the real goddess of fortune, Ravana and his whole family were vanquished by the power of Durga Devi. Srishti, Siti, Pralaya, Sadhana, Shakti, Rekha. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining that when one approaches the Supreme Lord, material motivations, it is not Mother Lakshmi who is awarding benedictions, it is her expansion Durga Devi. And her expansions, so Durga Devi's benedictions are temporary. That is the point. They're not eternal. But, so Mother Lakshmi is telling that she herself bestows benediction on a person who is eternally serving the Supreme Lord, who doesn't have any alternatives. So this material world is so beautifully designed, and actually the best algorithm to work in this material world is one doesn't have to ask for anything. One just needs to serve Krishna and everything will be supplied in due course of time. This is a Shastra Vakya. Everything will be supplied in due course of time. Maya Sukhaya Param Udvahato Vimura. Therefore, all we have to do is perform devotional service with great heart, and everything which is needed and everything which is auspicious for us will be given, supplied by the Supreme Lord. This is Krishna consciousness. To fully depend on the mercy of the Supreme Lord for anything the Lord wants to give us. Anything the Lord wants to give us. So very beautiful. These prayers very much fill with such a potent substance because Mother Rama is personally speaking, and what amazing realizations she is speaking in her prayers. Okay, so let's stop here for today. की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय,